All right. We have representing the defense. We have Joe Spivak and Blake Gallagher. Please message Athletic Communications in the chat in order to get in line to ask these two questions. Eli.
Hey, this one's for Joe.
So they've brought you in the first couple of games as an extra blocker at the goal line a few times. When did the coaching staff come to you with that option? What did they tell you, and how has that been so far?
Joe, you're muted.
I was muted, these Zoom calls. But no, yeah, it was probably about midway through the summer. I got a text or a call from one of them. I was driving home from workouts or something. Hey, can you catch the ball? And I said, hell yeah, I can catch the ball. I've never caught a ball in my life. But after that, we just kind of started chucking and jiving about it for a while. And then when we started preparing for game prep, Coach Huff pulled me in, to his meeting rooms, took me through the plays, all the other tight ends, and, blocking backs showed me what to do and just kind of took me under their wing. It's been a ton of fun. And obviously it's so easy to succeed when you got guys all pulling for you and watching film with you and telling you what to do and telling you when you're doing the wrong thing.
Go ahead, Eli, follow up.
Yeah, and so
Has playing, on the offensive line, has that told you anything? Has that taught you about playing defensive line at all, or has playing defensive line taught you about how to block as an offensive lineman?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think just the more you could understand schemes and blocking schemes, and just even when you start learning routes and coverages, even as a lineman, the more you know, the better. In the defensive line room, Coach Lawn has us learning blocking schemes from day one when we get here freshman year. So, because of him and because of his hard coaching style, I already knew, basic blocking schemes, and then just had to find, the adjustments that Coach Huff was giving us and the exact ways we do it here. But just the more you know, the better,
Ball?
Amit.
Question for Blake. Obviously, the linebacker room returned all three starters from last year, and there's, kind of a lot of continuity compared to other parts of the team, and it showed up, all three guys getting double-digit tackles last week. What has that continuity allowed you guys to do heading into this season, and what's kind of the mindset every week when you guys are kind of maybe taking charge of the defensive room?
Yeah, I mean, we all got a lot of starts under our belt. I've been playing for 3 years now, so something we're really comfortable with the defense, and kind of we can play off each other, and the communication has just gotten better and better every year, and there's really no substitute for experience. So we've had a decent amount of experience, so we're just out there flying around, playing behind a great D line, and we got great guys in the secondary. So the way the defense is playing right now is just a lot of fun.
For Blake again, Amit talked about the continuity with the linebackers. The D line has been a little bit has had a little less of that continuity, and also going down Jason Gold and Trevor Kent for last week at least. But then those guys able to step up and plug some holes and allow you guys to get a lot of tackles in the run game at the linebacker spot. I mean, how impressed were you with the D line's performance, especially Joe and Jake up the middle last week?
Oh, those guys, they're studs, man. There's no doubt in my mind that they were going to go out and ball out and do their thing. I mean, they do it in practice every day. They're grinders. They go out and attack it, and they're monsters, and it's fun to just play behind them, play off them, and just buzz around out there. They allow us to fly around and get to the ball.
Drew.
This is a question for Blake. So obviously the linebacker core of you, Chris, and Patty, very large veteran presence. You all double-digit tackles against Iowa, as mentioned. But I want to ask you a question about the secondary with young players such as Brandon Joseph, who's been playing incredibly well. How do you feel about that young unit and kind of what they're bringing to the defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing phenomenal so far. I mean, really no surprise. Those guys have been making plays really all camp, all spring ball. So seeing them put it together on Saturdays has been not really a shock, because they do it during the week. We see it during the week. They put in the prep, and they're just out there flying around.
Daniel.
Hey guys, this question here for Joe. Northwestern fans have really loved seeing you on the offense so far. There's been a lot of support. I believe Joe Gaziano tweeted out that he is officially a Stan account for you now. Just what does that kind of support mean? Like, and how exciting is it to see like people love it when you're out there?
No, it's awesome. It's so humbling. I mean, honestly, that's, one of the best parts of being at Northwestern. Sure, we might not sometimes have these gigantic fan and crowns, but the ones that we do are true. And, that's been shown more than ever, getting this fun opportunity on offense, and the outpouring of support has been so humbling. And at the end of the day, I just want to go out and ball out for my brothers. So, when fans see that happening and acknowledge that, it's just truly humbling, because all I want to do is play for the guys I'm next to.
Just follow up, Daniel.
Yeah. Is there any idea or like any hope for you to try and score a touchdown sometime this year? Is that like in the back of your mind?
I mean, it's definitely in my mind. My mind's not the one that matters, though. We'll see. I just like running up the middle and blocking some guys. That's just as much fun for me.
Amit.
Joe, another question on that, having some fun. We heard Fitz do an impression of you. Want to know if you've seen it, if you have an impression of Fitz. The guys in the defense got some impressions of other coaches, and love to hear one if you got one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought Fitz's impression was all right. It wasn't his best, but he showed up. But I mean, the biggest thing that Fitz, I don't know, I think Fitz always comes in every day and he's, all right, guys, it's critically important. It's critically important we do this and critically important we do that. And you got my D-line coach and the background coach. Yep. Freaking dang gosh, he's right. Listen to the big man. Yep. That's what I'm saying. It's critically important. They're just going back and forth, feeding off each other. So you just gotta hang on for dear life and try to catch things in between.
It's a tough follow-up to that. Zach?
I can't beat that. But for both you guys, Blake, a lot was made in the preseason about your bring your own juice mantra. Now we're 2 weeks into the season. How would both you guys rate the effort so far and of the sideline and the rest of the team bringing their own juice?
Juicy. That's how I'd rate it. I mean, we were in Iowa City, and I'll tell you what, there was no contest on the boundary about who was more juicy on Saturday when we were in Kinnick Stadium.
Minute Maid, Sun Kiss, Kool-Aid, Sunny D, all of it. They're bringing all the juice, and they're doing it every day in practice too. It's not new on Saturday. They do it every day. Blake can agree with that for sure.
Yeah, it's been something that's been stressed out throughout the week, and they're executing it on game day. So it's been phenomenal.
Larry Snyder.
First is for Blake. Blake, you've been around Joe for what is it like? This guy, it almost seems phony, but we know it's not. His but talk about being next to this guy for 4 years.
I mean, what you see is what you get. I mean, he's talk about juice. Guy's got it all the time. I mean, he's my roommate the past 2 years, and exactly what you see is what you get. He's juiced up. He's hyped up all the time. You never stop laughing when you're around this dude. So.
And Joe, how much do you owe your success to being an intern at Channel 7?
I think there is a direct correlation to reporting on high school sports and going in through an A gap. There's no difference there, really. It's the same exact mindset. You got to attack everything you do. So, I give it all the ABC7 internship. Oh, gosh.
You're awesome. I love it.
Good to see you, Larry.
Jack.
Hey, guys. This is for both of you. Last week, Coach McPherson was talking about how the DBs they had this movement to do more than just pass breakups, do more than just being in the right spot. I'm curious, as a defensive lineman and a linebacker, especially a linebacker who's good against the pass, like you, Blake, what do the other 10 guys have to do in order to create those interceptions for the back four guys in the defense?
Yeah, Spears can touch on it. It starts with the guys up front getting pressure on the quarterback. They get pressure on the quarterback, force him to make a throw sooner than he wants, or he's got pressure in his face and he's not necessarily comfortable stepping into a throw. I mean, that helps out the secondary, immensely.
Yeah, all I'd say is that, when you have guys like Blake Gallagher, Patty Fisher, Chris Bergen behind you, and then B. Joseph and, J.R. Pace out back and Newsome out back, all you want to do as a D lineman is get in a quarterback's face so they can make plays. If we get a sack, great, but we're slobbering at the mouth so that we can affect them and they can get those picks. And, they're doing it without us getting there sometimes. And that's a testament to the work that they put in, the film they watch, the reps they take, because they're all grinders.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job. I think, what do they got? Five picks now? between the back end. So
Yeah, Blake, you're the only non DB in the pick club. So
nice.
Noah.
Yeah, for Joe, with the injuries, it seemed like, I talked to Jake Saunders about this on Monday. It seemed like you guys had a bit of a smaller rotation than normal. You guys are obviously able to, like Blake said, bring that juice for most of the game. Still, can that continue? Can you guys continue to have a limited 7 or 8 man rotation the rest of the way?
No, 100% great question. No, I mean, that's what it's all about, is what you said, is bringing that juice even when we have that adversity, we have those injuries. It's the attitude. When guys went down, Coach Lon didn't talk to us about, oh, we need to change all these things. Coach Lon came and said, hey, we got some guys down. It's all up here now. It's attitude, it's attitude, it's attitude. And between Jake Saunders, obviously, trying to do it myself, and then, JB Butler and Wyatt behind us, we have all decided that, hey, we're the thick of this rotation now. It starts with our attitude, and everything's going to spiral from there. And that's all we just know that that's what it starts with every single day, and the rest will take care of itself.
Anything else for Blake or Joe? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just for Blake, I feel like it's not very nice of us to not have asked about your interception yet. You did steal everything. So I'll just go ahead and ask about that. How did that play develop? What did you see on that one with Eku getting the pressure, and then just walk us through the play a little bit.
Yeah, so I dropped to my zone. Eku got great pressure on the quarterback. Patty disrupted the route, got tipped up in the air. I just went with the quarterback when he broke to throw it. Just got tipped up. I grabbed it, downtime, slid. That was it.
Yeah, Daniel, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I was just wanted to ask, because Coach Fitz said post-game that he was really proud of you for going down. Did he tell you that right after you got off the field, like he was happy you slid down? Because he said he would have done that if he had gotten that interception.
No. We practice those scenarios in practice all the time. So, up by 1, downtime, you get an interception, go down, we run out the clock, and the game's over. So.
All right, last question, Drew.
Yeah, Blake, I have another follow-up on your interception. So as mentioned, you're the only linebacker in the pick club. I know there's been previous iterations of the pick club. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about it and kind of how it developed?
Man, I don't even know. How the pick club developed, to be quite honest with you. But I know it's a thing now, and everybody's trying to get in it.
Go ahead, Noah.
For Kyrick first. Kyrick, you had a lot of snaps last year, both running back and receiver in different games, and so far this year that sort of continued, especially last week. How has your role changed in this new offense when it comes to the snaps you're seeing at running back and wide receiver, and where on the field you're getting the ball?
I wouldn't say the change has been a really big change, just because, like you said, last year I did both. I think now it's just going day by day and team by team, looking at the matchups that can be created, whether I'm at receiver or at tailback. So it's really like a day-to-day thing and a team-to-team, just trying to get in the right matchup.
Noah, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, a little bit different, but in a similar vein. Last year, you were used a lot as a deep threat, and you still are that deep threat, obviously. But last week, a bunch of catches on 3rd down and medium, 3rd and 10-ish situations to move the chains and pick up those first downs. How do you feel about being a more, I don't want to say trusted, but very critical part to this offense in a close game that you guys had to win last week?
I feel really good where I'm fitting in within the offense, whether it's deep threats over the middle, taking handoffs, whatever that may be. Wherever my team needs me, it's kind of like my mindset coming in, and then whatever that is, it's to do it to my best ability. So whether that's going deep or going over the middle, it's just making the play that's possible.
Amit?
Question for Nick. We've talked a lot about kind of the difference in some of the run blocking schemes from last year to this year. What has that been like, and have you enjoyed, the way the run game has looked and felt through 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's been awesome. I think Coach Anderson and Coach Jake have put together a great plan since spring ball before COVID hit here. It's been awesome trying to use all these new techniques and schemes and see what we're doing with it. And we're confident in our run game, and it's been really cool to be a part of and just see Coach Anderson and Coach Jake work together to put the schemes together.
Daniel Ollinger.
Hey guys, this question's for Kyrick, and it's a little bit of a weird question, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. When you scored that touchdown against Iowa, I noticed afterwards on your celebration, you held both your arms out. I thought you were trying. My initial perception was you're trying to do like a zombie walk, is what I called it, because it was Halloween. Was that what your idea was? And if so, was that a premeditated, I'm gonna celebrate like this if I score today?
Yeah, it was like a little zombie Frankenstein kind of walk. We had honestly planned that in the huddle, I'm pretty sure, right before we went out, just assuming that it was going to be a touchdown. So that was pre-planned, and yes, it was a zombie celebration due to it being Halloween.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. So
thank you.
Hey, Kyrick. So obviously your wide receiver unit of you, RCB, and Riley, there's a lot of veteran leadership there. How would you describe your guys' leadership toward not only younger members of the team, but also working with a new quarterback in Peyton Ramsey?
I would say it's, these young guys they've stepped up a lot, and we know the role we play in their game, and at receiver and on special teams, showing them how important that is. And then with our connection with Peyton, obviously him already having the experience with this being his grad transfer year, and us being older, I feel like the connection was a lot easier once he got here to just kind of go off of. And then, with the reps that we've had over quarantine, or just because when we were at home and over quarantine, and just the more reps that we get together in the game, it just kind of makes that connection a lot more stronger.
Noah.
For Nick, you're a redshirt senior. You've had a lot of starts and a lot of snaps on this line, and you've seen it kind of evolve over the last couple of years with different guys coming in. And now you got a guy coming in next to you who's a true first year and has looked, at least to the untrained eye, like he's had a ton of success in these first two games. What do you have to say about Peter Scrantz's performance at left tackle so far?
Yeah, I think on the field he's been playing awesome football, but that starts every day here. He's always asking questions, wanting to learn. I'm watching film with him. He's watching film, texting me with questions, texting Sam Jarek with questions, or Gunnar Vogel with questions. So his performance doesn't just happen. He's preparing like he's a vet, which is huge for a guy who's going into his third week of college football. So he's doing a great job off the field preparing, and then on the field has been fun to play next to and fun to watch on film on Sunday, and everything else that goes with it.
Zach Wingrove.
Yeah, question for Nick. You've been asked a lot to review kind of the play of the offensive line around you. How have you felt about your play so far through these first two games? Is there anything that you think has been working really well, or something that you're looking to improve heading into these next stretch of games?
Yeah, I think every day there's stuff to improve on. I think there's a couple of plays that I wish I had back from Maryland and Iowa that I look at it, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I used that footwork, or overset this guy, or was leaning on this guy, stuff like that. So kind of just stuff like that I know that I'm doing well in practice, and just some stuff that I get caught with during the games. But I think overall I'm playing some good football, and overall our O-line's playing some good football. But I think we all have had some plays we wish we had back, but we're definitely learning from it, and just getting ready to go for that next week.
Drew.
Hey, sorry, this is a question for Nick. So obviously the offensive line has had a lot of turnover with Rashawn opting out and then Jared Thomas graduating. How do you feel the line has grown in light of these developments, and also playing in front of a new quarterback in Peyton Ramsey? How do you think that has kind of helped the line's camaraderie thus far?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is, I think Sam Jarek's really stepped up in a leadership role to kind of fill the shoes of some guys that we lost. He's taken charge. I mean, he's the center of the offense, so he's taken charge. helping me out with some leadership roles and talking with guys, doing the extra film study, stuff like that. But then on the field, it really just comes back to our relationship off the field. We watch film together and we're able to kind of just play in unison. And you would think that'd be kind of weird because this is only going on week 3 of us as a group playing in a true game together. But we've done a great job of practicing together and kind of just watching film together and vibing with each other. So it's been a lot of fun.
Noah.
Yeah, for Kyrick, sort of a 2-part question here. Coming into Nebraska next week, you guys only ended up throwing the ball 18 times to 60 runs last week, but a lot of those called passes ended up with Peyton scrambling. What's your biggest goal for the passing game in general going into Nebraska next week? And then, they're missing 2 starting secondary members in the first half of that game. Does that make you sort of lick your chops as a receiver to sort of get in there and potentially have the chance to face off against some guys who are less experienced?
I think simply our game plan, pass-wise, is just to execute, be as clean as we can possible with just pitching and catching, whether that's deep, short, out routes across the middle, whatever that may be. It's just to be clean with it. And then looking at the opponent, we're not going to take anyone lightly who we play, whether it's a starter, whether it's a backup. My preparation and my team's preparation is going to be the same.
Amit.
Kyrick, another question for you about the wide receiver group. Physical battle against Iowa, and you guys made some contested catches and came up big on 3rd down, as Noah alluded to earlier. How do you feel about the physicality of the wide receiver group at this point in the season, and how are you guys kind of taking pride in that so far?
I feel good about where we're at right now, but I feel like there's definitely still a long way to go. Just as playing in the Big Ten, it's a physical conference, day in and day out, even on the perimeter. So each game moving forward, Iowa was a good test, because we're always going to play them physical. They're always going to play us physical, and I was really fine with playing them early, and I think that was a good game. Moving forward to get some physicality under our belt and to be able to use that going forward. So I'm really looking forward to just being more physical on the perimeter.
No, I'm not sure if you had another one or if that was from earlier.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, for Nick now. I talked about Scrantz earlier, but the other 4 guys on that line, you guys are juniors and seniors. You've been at Northwestern for a while now. 2nd year under Kurt Anderson this year, though. With your 2nd full year under an offensive line coach, and specifically one who has seemed to have as much success as Coach Anderson, how much growth have you seen from those guys, and what kind of growth in particular in that 2nd year under Coach Anderson?
I think the biggest is the little details in our technique. Coach Anderson does such a great job of teaching techniques that work for your type of style of play. And he's done a great job of honing in on each individual and giving them techniques that work best for them. And just seeing guys really buy into what he's telling us and the schemes he's putting in front of us, and just really buying into what he's saying and teaching. And guys are running with it, and it's going to be fun to watch the rest of this year and then watch the rest of the time Coach Anderson's at Northwestern.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Kyrick.